all agree that the quality of output is very, very important for the upkeep of efficiency of the system, right? At the same time, suppose if media is too critical, the nation wants to know like that, right? Suppose if media is okay, going everything, whatever government does, you go critical after the government like that. So what will happen in that sense? So government could be, the reaction from government could be in two forms. One is they will be repressive against the media houses. So whoever asks the nation wants to know will be have to go and ask, become a Republican somewhere, or or right, or he out of the scene from whatever audio visual to print, somewhere they will go off the scene. Or if government is weak, they will be a bit more docile in terms of, okay, they will always listen to the media. This also happened in the Indian context. Both things happened in the Indian context. That's why media's role is very important. Whoever has taken the media as a career choice, it's very, very important. You have really, really responsible actually role to play, but you need to do it with utmost conscience, not self-interest driven, but the national interest driven or others interest driven. And also we need to actually be a bit more responsible, right? In that sense, media will work. Otherwise, media will not work. Suppose if I do it for TRP ratings, I want to get more ads, so I can't be critical of governments, right? So I want to raise my TRP rating, so I need to be very sensational. If we do like this in a corporatist kind of course, you need to have resources also, but if it is fully driven by that, then I think whatever your feedback, the quality goes up. As a result, the whole system suffers. In the long run, the system suffers. Okay, so feedback is all about outputs, and feedback is also talks about the environment, irrespective of, right, being giving feedback on the outputs. It also reports what is happening. That's what when I go to environment, I'll talk about intra-societal and inter-societal environment. For instance, something happened in Beirut, right? Some bombing happened. So what happened, why that bombing, whether that was a terror attack or accident or what happened, right? Is there any implications for us, in the sense for us Indian system? Is there anything implication for us? So that is how we always see, right? So it also reports about environment. That's why feedbacks to this is what whoever has taken media, because you're all media, some of you are media people, you know better than me. So these are the two purposes. You also give feedback on the outputs. At the same time, you also report about the environment, right? What is going on? Without proactively, you keep on reporting. That is taken as an input now, right, by the system. And based on the feedback, the system modifies. That is where the strength of the feedback is. If the feedback is taken seriously, the system, as I said, is dynamic and it modifies itself, whatever it's the next process. So this is what I was talking about. Suppose the quality of feedback. So there are two kinds of qualities you can look at, two kinds of issues here. Suppose if I am very subjective about my feedback, then it is as good as not giving feedback at all. That's why I always ask, be very objective about. That's why I asked two people to audit every class. Every class you audit and tell me what is going wrong. Anything going wrong, even a small thing, we should try and modify, right? Suppose uh, Ashwin and Rorima gives feedback after 1 year. What will happen? About today's class, after 1 year they give. What will happen? That is the time lag. So the feedback needs to be right quick, right? That doesn't mean that you desperately give and before I end itself you just shoot a mail. Not that. You need to be faster. At the same time, you shouldn't be not taking too much time, right? This is what it is. It should not lag, right? That is what it is. So this is what all about feedback, right? If you have any questions on feedback, let me know. Then the final aspect is the environment. Any questions on feedback? Anybody? Is it clear? Suppose I want to make policy on education, okay, on our environment or something. So the how should I know the ground reality? What is happening on the ground? How should I know? How many schools are there? How many universities are there? What is required? How will I know? Will each and every one of you go and tell the system? How will I know? Somebody has to report it, right? Or what is today's number of cases in corona? Or what is happening in the United States, right? Is anybody stuck there still? I don't know, because the system's reach in all these things is not proper, or it's not. Even United States has only 150 embassies all over, and India is pretty less. So how will I know what is happening in Iceland or Europe? How will I know? Or how will I know what is happening in China? That's why certain media houses maintain local correspondences in all these people, especially in all these places, especially Hindu and all maintains local correspondences, which means you need to collect information from the environment, which means what is happening all around. That is a feedback. I need to know. I tell you, NSCS, what happened? My previous posting, what happens is we get inputs from some 14 agencies daily. That was our input, which means they keep on reporting, right, about the environment. Like IB sends, raw sends. We get cables from all embassies all over the world, and we put it in a repository. So whatever issues we want to go, we will go there and take that as an input. But that is coming as reporting from the environment. That is what I. So I was asking about the example about the closed system. Can you anyone tell about the closed system? I gave you Myanmar some time back. Till recently, Myanmar was called as autarky. Autarky means you have closed system. Can anyone give any other example? Exactly. North Korea. North Korea, which means it maintains its systemic boundary very tight, which means that interaction with the environment is, especially that extra societal environment is, right, not encouraged at all, because they think that it is very polluted. The extra societal environment may pollute you, or they may actually bring in certain unwanted things, right, or they may trigger a revolution, which means the intra-societal environment may know about what is happening in the outside world. So outside world people are enjoying a lot, not like us. We are actually worshipping a leader, and if he says cry, we cry. If he says laugh, we laugh. But extra societal, okay, people are saying, doing different things without minding anything, right? So if that goes, what happens? The system fears that there may be any revolution or anything, so it guards. That's why you see the closed system guards. Even feedback cannot come. Even within the intra-societal feedback, it cannot be. Even China, it fully closes Google. Google is not operational at all in China. Whenever I go to China, I cannot use or my Gmail. I have to open. I have another Yahoo account for that always. Whenever I go to China, I have to use that only, right? Because they think that now we are all Google people, right? Children of Google. So they think that Google spoils everybody, right? YouTube spoils you, right? So this is how it is. Now you understand why certain systems are closed, why certain systems are open. So that is why open systems, they survive for long, in the sense, in general, the prosperity, right, survivability, all. Of course, there are issues that come in, but in general, the open democratic societies, right, they survive. And then suppose if you don't have the boundary, you may lose your identity. This is what they try to say. At least for that, either that be closed or open, it doesn't matter, but you need to have a boundary, right? What is the boundary of a particular system? That's why systems maintain boundaries to make sure that its identity is there. Like for instance, you are from India, means how do you know that you are from India? You have a map that shows. That is what boundary is all about, right? Indian boundary or Pakistan boundary or Chinese boundary, or there is a boundary dispute. What is this boundary dispute all about? One system wants to encroach on the boundary of other. It could be ideational boundary, or it could be even territorial boundary, doesn't matter. But this encroachment, the systems are very much guarded about these boundaries. Otherwise, they may lose their identity. That's why we are so possessive about Kashmir or whatever the territorial issues. And then now you see, this is where the important things, whatever strains or whatever changes that happens in the environment that affects the system, especially in a globalized world, whatever happens outside the world, either that be intra-societal or extra-societal, that impacts the environment, that impacts the system. This is very, very important. That's why you need to actually look at the environment and see what is going on. So modify accordingly so that you can not be impacted in a dysfunctional manner, right? So that is why the system, right? System, any good system has to respond to the environment properly. What others are thinking about you. I'm not saying at a personal level, what others are thinking about you, what is their take, how you should respond, right? All those things are very, very important. Then only a system, a good system, right, survives, or good system carries on. Okay, so we saw about the inputs, which has two kinds, demands and supports. Then we saw what's happening in the system. Then we saw the output. Then we saw the feedback, and then we saw the environment. But somebody applied the systems theory to IR. Who is that? Right, neorealism. And of course, the systems theory is also fine. The world systems theory is also fine, right? So this is what is all about. He was talking about the right, the structural realism or neorealism. This is what it is, right? Where especially the environment that impacts how the states behave, right? He talks about realism talks about states always seek power. It is the state because it flows from your human nature, right? But Kenneth Waltz saw it differently. Kenneth Waltz saw it differently. He says that even if you are a bad person, if your environment is good, you will behave right in a different manner. You will behave because he always says that international system is anarchic. So if anarchy is good, your behavior is good. If everybody behaves badly, you will also jump bandwagon and you will also develop. So that is what it is, right? So now you understand the connection, how, right? There is all interrelated. So this is where the systems theory ends.